Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to walk through the process showing how to publish a release for a Unity project on GitHub. And we're going to do that using the releases functionality of GitHub and a Unity project that I have right here. This project is called My Unity Project and it's very basic. It just contains a plane and a cube. Game objects, if I hit play, this is what it looks like. Just rotating cube seen by my main camera. So the first part is to create a build, and we're going to do that by going to build settings in our scene, and you click add open scenes if you don't have your scene right here, and you want to make sure your platform of choice is selected here. I'm running this on a Mac, so I have macOS selected. And if you're on Windows, you would have Windows selected here. Go to player settings, and under player you have these options here. The main ones are going to be your company name, your product name, and the version. So you want to set those to something that makes sense for the release that you're creating. In this case, version 1.0.0 is my release, which is going to match the release tag that I put onto GitHub. And then the next thing I'm going to customize in here is the resolution. So I'm going to just make sure this is windowed, and I'm going to make this 1920 by 1080. And I'm just going to toggle off the Mac Retina support for this video. But these are all options you can customize depending on your needs of your build. I could also choose to make this full screen and as opposed to windowed, but it's easier to move the window to demonstrate. So with those settings changed, I'm going to close this, and then I'm going to click build. And what this process is going to do is create an app for me. So I'm going to put this in my builds folder, which if you do not have a folder called builds, click new folder and create one. And I'm going to put it under my Mac folder, which I also created, and I'm going to just call this build, same name as my project, My Unity Project, and I'll click save. And so what's going to happen here is it's going to create a .app file for me, bundling up all of my project assets and essentially creating something that I can send to somebody and they could open it on their Mac. So if I double click on my Mac, my app here, and I move this window to my display here, we can see if I click the full screen, I will actually get a full screen view. We can see my build right here. So it's running. It's just a Unity app. Click exit full screen, running in a full 1920 by 1080 window here. And to get out of it, I can go to quit. And so that's my build right here. And so what we're going to do is take this and upload it to GitHub as a release. So what we're going to do is go to my folder here where I see builds, Mac, and my app right here. And I'm just going to go to the top level folder called Mac, right click and compress. And so what this is doing is it's just creating a zip file of that folder. So if I were to go and open this and unzip it, I'll have my project in here. So what we're going to do then is take this zip file and upload it to GitHub. Sorry, upload it to GitHub as a release. And so we won't use GitHub Desktop for this. We'll just go to the website for the repo and click create new release. And I'm just going to give it a release title of version 1.0.0 and a tag of the same. If you don't have this tag, you can create a tag called version 1.0.0. And I'll just actually change this title to my first or my release. Or you could even say like version 1.0.0 release and describe this release. You want to give it some details, so I'll just say like Mac OS build. And then right here is where you want to upload your files. So if I click choose files and go and find my project, which is right here on my desktop, go to builds and locate my zip file. It's going to upload right here. And while it's uploading, you can notice on the right side there's a link to something called Semantic versioning. And this is a versioning system that you want to know about when you're dealing with software, because it has to do with creating a versioning scheme that makes sense for what you're building. And most software at this point follows a similar scheme here. And so it's good to just know about the versions that are used, or the versioning conventions that are used for software. In this case, it's very simple. We're just calling this version 1. But if you continue to do other types of builds for projects like this, you might adopt a similar approach. So it's been uploaded, shows 30.89 megabytes, and I can say save or publish. If I were to upload additional releases here, say I create one for Windows, I would probably just say save draft, and then I could go on my Windows computer and create a build and upload it here, and then I could hit publish release. So in this case, I'm not going to do that right now, but I will click publish release. And so there we go. So we have our Mac app right here zipped up. And if I click on releases, you can see version 1 release, and the source code, which is just the Git repo code, all zipped up too, if you needed to download that, corresponding to this commit right here, which is just if I go back to the code, it's the latest commit that was made right here. So go back here to releases, and I can see this is the latest one. Say you wanted to send your project to somebody to download and just test without having to go into Unity and build a release. You would just email them a link to this project or this repo right here, and they would go to the releases tab and find the proper release for their OS. So if I click this and download it, let's see, it goes in my downloads folder, and I can open it. And what does it look like? Let's see. So if I double click on it, I might get this notification, and you just say okay and go back and right click and say open, and you get a different one. And this happens just on Mac for security reasons. Say open, and then I have my project right here. So this is a standalone app, just like I showed before, and I can quit it and delete it if I need to. And so that's all you need to do to create a release. And to recap, what we did was create a build from Unity, upload it as a release on our repo, and demonstrate how to download a copy of it to run on a Mac.